I wanted to take a minute to address some narratives that are going around talking about the quarterback situation. First, somehow Jayden Daniels won the Pepsi Rookie of the Week over Caleb Williams this week. This is just crazy to me to start things off. What does Caleb have to do to get some respect from the national media? I know Jayden Daniels has been awesome, but no way did he outplay Caleb this week. That's just crazy to me. And for some reason, I'm getting a ton of comments on a video from 2022. I made a video in December of 2022, 3 months before we traded the #1 pick, talking about how we weren't going to trade Justin Fields this offseason. Guys, this was last offseason, not this year. I have to talk about that briefly as well. It's a Swift rant day. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Honestly, I have no idea how Jayden won the Rookie of the Week over Caleb Williams. To me, it's borderline ridiculous. Yes, Jayden has been awesome this season, and he's outperformed Caleb almost every week. But this is week 6 in the NFL. Last week we're talking about. We're not talking about the entire season, and yet somehow Jayden wins the Rookie of the Week again over Caleb. This is getting ridiculous. Let's compare this one game for a moment here. The only thing Jayden did better was throw for 40 more yards, and that's because his team was losing. The Bears were controlling the clock, running the timeout, and then brought in Tyson Bagent to knee the game out. Caleb could have easily threw for another 40 passing yards. He had a much higher completion rate. He threw twice as many touchdowns as Jayden did. He almost had a 5th touchdown. He had a higher passer rating, a higher QBR, and he even rushed for twice as many yards as Jayden did. Caleb had a record-breaking game, etching his name in the NFL record books for his performance in London, and his team won 35-16. Pure domination. The Commanders lost 23-30. Jayden Daniels didn't break any records in that game. Yes, he broke a ton of records to start the season and has even outperformed Caleb Williams. I'm not arguing that. We're just talking about week 6 here, this one game. And there is no way Jayden Daniels won the award over Caleb again. This is looking like the Justin Herbert social media QB 2.0 all over again. And this dude is just getting insanely overhyped. I like Jayden Daniels, but after this announcement, I want to beat them into the turf next Sunday in Washington. I'm so sick of this dude being insanely overhyped. There is no way that anyone thinks Jayden outperformed Caleb Williams last week. You might be able to say he played against a better team and a better defense, but he didn't outperform Caleb. On top of that, they lost the game, and he threw half as many touchdowns and rushed for less than half his amount of yards. I just don't get it. I really don't have an explanation for that one, guys. Caleb Williams is definitely my Rookie of the Week. But now I want to talk about a couple of narratives with the entire QB situation that went down this offseason. Okay, first off, I have never one single time ever attacked Caleb Williams' character. I also never one single time this offseason said we wouldn't trade Justin Fields or that we wouldn't draft Caleb. I did, however, say that way back in 2022. I said we wouldn't trade Justin that offseason. That was 3 months before we traded the #1 pick to the Panthers. In that video, way back in 2022, I not only said we weren't trading Justin that offseason, but I guaranteed it. I made my first ever Swift guarantee on the channel, and I was right. We did not trade him that offseason. Yet somehow that video seems to have gained some traction somehow, and people are coming out of the woods to comment on the video without even watching it. Swift, you were wrong. This video aged like milk. We did trade Justin. See, you didn't want Caleb. All these comments without even listening to a word I said in the video. Look, I don't pretend to be smarter than anyone else or pretend to have sources, but the one thing I do is stand by what I say. I'm definitely not always right. I actually did say something in that video that was dead wrong that you guys can feel free to make fun of. I said I had confidence that Justin Fields and Chase Claypool were going to be an elite QB wide receiver combo. Now, that's one that you can laugh at. That's an awful statement. But people commenting saying, but people trying to make that video about Caleb Williams when it was 16 months before we drafted Caleb Williams, and I was talking about the year before that. Come on, guys. Everything I said in that video about not trading Justin Fields was when Bryce Young was the #1 pick, not Caleb Williams. People have just consistently tried to take my words out of context and tell me I said something that I never did. Other people did guarantee that the Bears weren't trading Fields this year, but that was not me. I said that last year when we didn't trade Fields. I hate making videos like this, guys, but it's been 7 months since the NFL draft, and people are still telling me every day that I said things I never said. People are still commenting on a video from 2 years ago, acting as if it's from this year, without even listening to a word I said in the video. It's borderline ridiculous. Yes, I did make videos talking about both sides this offseason. I made videos about trading Justin Fields, and I made videos about trading the #1 pick, and I weighed the options on both sides. But I said all along, I trust Ryan Poles. I never once pretended like I knew what we were going to do, and I never once trashed Caleb Williams. In fact, I was watching every Caleb Williams game last season on TV and spent the entire months of December and January studying his All-22 film like I was studying for the SATs or something. I've been a fan of Caleb since before most casual fans even knew who he was. I watched him play on Saturdays when he was at Oklahoma. Narratives drive me nuts, but lies, those are even more annoying. I just wanted to put that one to rest once and for all. I never said the Bears shouldn't draft Caleb. I never said they won't trade Justin Fields, unless you're talking about when I said it in 2022. And then I do have one more update here on the potential of a Hassan Reddick trade. Details have emerged about the situation that make it much less likely that the Bears or any team in the NFC would be interested. Reports surfaced that there was a stipulation from the Eagles when they traded him to the Jets for a third-round pick this offseason. Apparently, if he's traded back to an NFC team, the Jets would owe the Eagles a second-round pick instead of a third. That's a big-time blow for anyone who wanted to see him come to Chicago. It just makes no sense for the Jets to trade him to the NFC now. If he does get traded, it'll most likely happen to another team in the AFC. I think the general consensus from Bears fans was that they did not want him anyway, so this shouldn't come as that bad of news or anything. But it basically eliminates us from trading for Hassan Reddick, if you ask me. But enough of that, guys. I'm finishing up my Bears Weekly. Look out for that in just a couple of hours. Stay tuned. A lot more positivity on the way. Remember to hit that like button for me. And until next time, bear down.